Earlier this year, Valve made a big update to Steam that allowed end users to easily record their gameplay, and it works really well, right up until the point where you want to get that gameplay off of your Steam Deck. Now, for technical reasons, you can't really share giant file sizes from your Steam Deck, so you have to cut everything down on your Steam Deck, and as good as Valve's UI is, I can tell you that as somebody who edits a lot of video, it's a whole lot easier to work with files once you have them on a more traditional computer. Of course, you could boot into desktop mode and get at the files that way, but when you're recording on a device that you're playing on, you're definitely going to have a hit to performance as the deck has to do two things at once. And when you're talking about low power devices like the Steam Deck or other PC handhelds, you don't really have power to spare unless you are running the least demanding games in existence. For example, here you can see I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077. I'm currently hitting around 50 to 60 frames per second, and as soon as I start recording using Steam's built-in solution, my frames drop quite a bit. So, what is the solution? This is the AverMedia Extra Go dock GC515, and it does something that no other Steam Deck dock does. It has a built-in capture card that records locally at the touch of a button. You can also use it to live stream your gameplay to Twitch or YouTube, and if you're somebody that loves to play games on your Steam Deck and you want to be able to share your favorite gaming moments, I think that this could solve a lot of problems for a lot of people. Of course, this is not a review as this video is sponsored by AverMedia, but this is currently my favorite dock for my Steam Deck, and I gotta be honest, I have a lot of them. One of my favorite things to do is live stream while I play games. Sadly, I'm way too busy these days, so I haven't streamed for quite a long time, but I streamed for years on both Twitch and here on YouTube, and whenever I'm streaming using my Steam Deck, I've always had to have very complicated setups with wires all over the place. First, I would need a dock, and then that dock needs to be powered, and then I would have to have whatever accessories I want plugged into that dock in order to use them with the Steam Deck. I would also have to have that going HDMI out from the dock into a capture card, which also had to be powered, and then the capture card would need a wire going to my TV or my monitor, and another wire going into my computer so that I could actually stream everything or record everything. This made wire management an absolute nightmare, and with the AverMedia Extra Go, the capture card is built into the dock. Not only can I record locally, but I can just keep this on my desk and go live without a bunch of extra wires and capture cards. Now they're all eliminated from the signal chain. I can simply put my Steam Deck in the dock, plug it in, and I'm ready to go. It's just incredibly easy. I will say that their software doesn't work on a Mac, and I am a Mac guy, so I can't actually use their software, but it doesn't matter because my system was instantly able to recognize the capture card, and I was able to drop this into my setup with absolutely no effort at all. This dock has a big button right on the front that you press and it starts recording right on the dock. No need to hook this up to a computer in order to start recording your favorite gameplay moments or live streaming, and it records everything to whatever SD card you have plugged in right here in the micro SD card slot. I simply grabbed a card out of my backup camera, threw it in there, hit the button, it made a new folder and dropped the recorded files right in there. I didn't even have to format, which is awesome. Behind the card reader, you have your headphone output, which you probably aren't going to be using unless you're using this to live stream. Right below the big button on the front is an LED that lets you know exactly what's happening with the dock at any time. If it's solid blue, it's ready to record. If it's pulsing red, it's actively recording. And if it starts flashing red, then you know that you are almost out of recording space. I'd like the LED to turn off when the device is not actually hooked up, but I'm glad it's there to tell you exactly what's happening when you are using it. One thing I appreciate about this dock is how well labeled it is. I can't stand when companies make text impossible to read for aesthetic reasons, especially on the back of a device, which you're never going to see anyway. This clearly marks which ports are for power, which ones are for hooking up to your handheld. Hell, even the wire that you use to hook up your handheld is labeled with a giant 1 on one side and a 2 on the other, so you know exactly how to hook it up. On the back, we have USB-C for power, which supports pass-through of up to 65 watts, so you can use the charging cord that came with your handheld of choice. Then there's HDMI, which supports up to HDMI 2.0. It has two USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports and a USB-C out that goes to your computer, so you can use it as a capture card as well. And speaking of going out to your PC, there's also a small switch on the back that switches the dock into an SD card reader, so if you're recording to that SD card, you don't even have to take it out in order to get that footage onto your computer. It's really well thought out. It has pass-through for up to 4K 60, though if you're using it as intended to capture footage from the Steam Deck or, other PC handhelds, you're probably not playing games at 4K 60, so to me, I don't really care about up to 4K 60. 1080p is just fine. It records in H.264, or if you download AverMedia software, you can get, with just a few clicks, you can switch it over to H.265 recording. The slot where you put your device of choice is designed to accommodate a bunch of different devices, including phones and tablets, and of course, the Steam Deck. I checked, it also fits the Lenovo Legion Go and the ROG Ally, but the Ally X will not fit. If you have a case on your Steam Deck or your Ally, I'm pretty sure that they won't fit depending on the case. Just something that you're definitely going to want to keep in mind if you're interested in picking one of these up and you use a case on your device. You can also use it to capture Nintendo Switch footage, though I won't show that because Nintendo doesn't like anybody to show videos of their games being played on YouTube unless it's all praise, so I'm not going to show that. But what I will show you is how you put the Switch in the dock, because most PC handhelds have the USB-C port on the top of the device, and the Nintendo Switch has the port on the bottom. Well, there's a groove in the capture card that has room for the wires, so you can plug it into the bottom of your Switch and then set the Switch in the dock, no problem. One advantage that this has over more traditional live streaming setups is when you're live streaming, if you want to record at the same time, usually your camera is baked into the video, so you have to have your gameplay and your camera recorded together. But because this records right on the device, I can live stream to capture exactly what my audience is seeing, but I can also press the record button on the device itself and record just the gameplay. So if I wanted, I could edit things separately later. This isn't a feature that I would personally need, but back when I did a lot of live streaming, I think it would have come in handy. One thing I was really worried about with this device is latency. I've used some really bad capture cards in the past, and you can absolutely feel the latency on them. This one, I didn't notice any latency when I hooked it up to my TV or my computer monitor. But I think my favorite thing about the AverMedia Extra Go is I could just leave it hooked up to my TV. And if I'm going to talk about a game that I've been playing on the next episode of the NerdNest podcast, do me a favor and click subscribe so that you don't miss that next episode. I can just press the button when I'm playing and record, and then click it again when I'm done. Then, when I need B-roll in order to show while I'm talking to the guys about the games that I played this week, I could just pop the SD card out, throw it in my computer, drop the footage on my timeline, and it could not be easier. And the best part is I don't have to have it hooked up at my desk. I don't have to have it plugged into a computer in order to capture gameplay. I just push a button and I'm recording on device. It's a device that takes something that used to be a huge pain point when creating content and makes it incredibly simple. And those are the kinds of devices that are always worth talking about. From the Nerd Nest, I'm Bill. Stay rad, and thanks for watching.